Hey YouTube, it's Rich again. Just wanted to follow up on my original posting about my kitchen project and giving you a little bit more information about what I've been doing. So as you can see behind me, this is my Peninsula reconstruction cabinet that I had to do. Remember in the last post I actually showed you the original cabinet that I had basically almost deconstructed completely. As you can see in the back panel there, that's the original panel from the original Peninsula cabinet, and I peeled it away from the existing one to be able to use on this cabinet. The whole reason for creating this cabinet was because my wife wanted to have the cooktop on the Peninsula side rather than having a complete just countertop here. She wanted the cooktop on this side because she felt like she wanted to be able to talk to people while she was still cooking in the kitchen, and this allowed her to do that. But by doing that, we did not want to have the downdraft, or we didn't want to have a range going into the ceiling. So we decided, that the next best option was to create a get a downdraft version of it, and to do the downdraft, you need to have a cabinet that's deeper than 24 inches. And the existing cabinet was, I think it was like 23 3/4. It was, or 22 and some change on the inside depth, which was problematic. So it wouldn't allow for the cooktop and the depth of the pop-up vent. So we decided to go ahead and just create another cabinet. I'd already created the pantry and the oven and got a little bit better and a little more confident in the construction of the cabinets, and so I started in on creating this cabinet. And so as you can see, largely the same dimensions as the one previously. I think I made it a little bit longer on this end, simply because what I'm going to try to do, if you see here the cutout, rather than going through the floor and going under the joists into my crawl space, I'm going to try to run the exhaust duct working in the space below the cabinet and above the floor. So there is room here, and so that's what I have decided that I want to try to do. And so to do that, I didn't know if I could go straight outside or if I was going to have to come up some before I went outside, because on the back side of my kitchen I have a deck, and I didn't want to run into the rim joists of the deck with the exhaust vent port. So I wanted this a little bit deeper in case I needed to do a 90-degree up and then another 90-degree out. I'm hoping I don't have to do that, because the directions in the exhaust fan don't recommend too many 90-degree turns, because it reduces the effectiveness of the fan. So I'm hoping I can just do my turn down at 90 degrees, and then I have a 90-degree ductwork that twists and then goes out. So that's two 90s right here. I'm hoping I don't have to do two more 90s on that side. So I'm praying that that will work and that I don't run into issues there, but I'm sure I will. It's just the way things work out. Here is the back side of the cabinet. So I had paneling already from the original, and I liked the panel. I didn't really care for the knotty pine that was our current cabinetry. I'm hoping I can use some 3N spot primer to some spot putty to cover up some of these. I've used some wood putty right now just to cover the big stuff. I haven't sanded it yet. As you can see, it still needs some sanding, but keep on going. You can see that I have on this back side, because it's where the dishwasher will actually be on that far side. That'll be closed off, so you won't actually see anything. But originally I had 4 drawers here, but I've changed it so that it's 3, because I wanted a deeper one for putting like napkins and other items that go for, you know, the kitchen table in there. Allows a little bit more flexibility. And I made these a little bit deeper than what the originals were. I think they were originally 4 inches and now they're 5 inches deep. So for tablecloths and mats and things like that. So and those are all typical slides are, I believe, 21-inch slides, and these are 24-inch slide because I have the ability to do so to make it as deep as possible. So these are 24. They'll be 24-inch drawers. A little more expensive of a slide because of the 24-inch. They get pretty pricey, but it's worth using as much space as I can since I have a face frame cabinetry. It's not as efficient as the European style. I do like the look of it, but it's certainly not as efficient in the use of space. So I've had to block a lot of things out when I'm you know, trying to do slides and drawers. I actually did that on this quite a bit. So you can see here the face frame for this one. I had to block this out so that it's flush with the face frame. And then I also had to create a block out here for it as well. It reduces the drawer space, but you know, if you just did a shelf, and this is such a deep cabinet that a shelf just wouldn't work. It's going to be very difficult once you put a countertop on it and you're not being able to see in here. So having drawers is just going to be ideal, and unfortunately you miss out some of the space there. But I do like, you know, the style of the way the face frame looks in the kitchen. So, and you know, we're in colonial. It's a colonial house, so I want to continue with that style, traditional style. So, in here, I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to have 2 doors here, and then this is going to be a dummy front. But I'm thinking about maybe adding some shelf pin holes on either side and putting a shelf here for pots and pans possibly. But I'm going to have to leave this area open because of the cooktop, and then the vent fan is going to be there. So I'll probably, if I make a shelf, I'm going to make a shelf that's maybe an L shape so that it goes, and then it has a back on it so that things don't fall off the back side, because I can't go all the way back. So I'll still thinking about that, and I probably will do it, just haven't built it yet. It's something that just came to me as I started constructing it and mocking up the cooktop and everything. 3/4 inch plywood floors, 3/4 inches on the sides. This is 3/4 of an inch. These are 3/4. These are actually 1/2 inch. I just had 1/2 inch already, and it was already pretty sturdy. I mean, there's so much wood in this cabinet already and I had to build it out because I was having to block it. So I just used, you know, the thin stuff there. But I definitely wanted it to go all the way up, and then had a runner going across the back on each side, so that when the cooktop sits, the weight will transfer all the way down to the cabinet and not put so much stress on the countertop. I did have to add some supports underneath here that run front to back on both sides, so that it can handle the weight, because it was bowing when I first started constructing it. And I knew I was going to need to add some, but you could tell when I first started putting it together that it was pretty flimsy, just because it's such a long span. But you know, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with how it turns out so far. Still need to paint it, and that's going to be a task all on its own. Pretty concerned about that, because all this woodwork that I've done, I don't want to ruin it with the paint job. I don't plan on using. I'm not planning on using latex. I'm really thinking about doing a lacquer and then a top coat. But I've never done it before, but I've heard that, you know, that if I can get the mix right and it goes on pretty good and it dries really fast, and you know, if you make a mistake, you can sand it out pretty quickly. Never used it before, so that's something that's going to be new to me. I hope I don't mess it up because this has been a lot of work to get these created, and you can certainly buy cabinets, and I don't know how it's going to be. I'm still working on the budget and seeing how it all plays out, but the plan is to get new doors and new drawers, and I'm going to be going to a company to get the drawers built. I'm not going to physically make them because I don't have a dovetail jig, and just not necessary. I just feel like it's going to take me so much time to build those things that I just rather just sub that out to somebody else and have those completed. And then I'm also buying new doors and drawer fronts. So all that's going to be new. So all those drawers that you saw in the kitchen originally, those are all those knotty pine ones. I'm getting rid of all that. Don't care for it. A lot of them are warped and they're old and they're worn, and it's time to replace it. It's just going to be a whole lot easier, and the paint grade stuff that you can get, a lot of the centers are MDF, so they're a lot more stable and they take paint really well. So that's the plan for right now. So that's what I'm going to do. This is the oven cabinet. Like I said before, it's custom for the unit I bought, which is it's a Samsung oven, wall oven. It's a single oven with a microwave. So I'm pretty sure that it's going to fit. I measured it. We got the oven it's actually in the living room, sitting there with a refrigerator, but should fit pretty good, should slide in, no issues. So what I did is I created two drawers and below it for cookie sheets and pans and various oven accessories that my wife uses. And then also I created partitions as well. This will probably be for the cookie sheets and things like that, so that she can stand them up on end. And it's, since it's 26.5, it can slide in long ways and shouldn't have any problem at all. I figured 3 of them was enough. This one I didn't continue the partitions here. I figured if she needed some space to be able to set something tall, she could put it up in there. And if it's like some vases or something like that she doesn't use that often and doesn't need access to all that much, she'll be able to put it up there, and it'll be out of the way. I still need to put the slides, the bloom slides on each side here. I have that. I just hadn't bought them when I was constructing this, so I still need to attach those, and that's right there. Those are the remaining 24-inch long hinges that I have, and this is the hardware that comes with it for the actual drawers. But that's it so far. This one's ready to go. It's been prepped and sanded and everything. It just needs to be brought inside and fit. I'm pretty sure it's going to fit. I think I cut this one a little bit shorter at the top than the pantry, and the pantry fits fine. I just wanted to be doubly sure because with the thickness of the flooring that we might be putting in, I just wanted to make sure that it would fit and not raise it up too high to where it's going to be a problem. So that's what we have right now. Hopefully we'll be able to get these things in fairly soon. I think the next item on my to-do list is one of the other cabinets, the existing cabinets that's going to be alongside of this cabinet here, the oven cabinet. It's the countertop that's going to be alongside it. It needs a little bit of work. I'm going to use the existing cabinet. It's not really much going to change. I just need to block out some areas where I'll need to put some drawer slides that I plan on doing. And it'll just be a whole lot easier to bring the cabinet out here and work on it out here and do my sanding that I need to do out here. Rather than in the kitchen, because my wife's still trying to use the kitchen, and I'm trying to minimize the amount of dust that I'm creating in there and allow her to continue working while I'm doing this project, so to minimize the amount of time that we're going to be eating out, because once I start pulling the range out and and putting in the cooktop and things like that and having to paint, we're going to be eating out quite a bit. So right now, doing everything that I possibly can to not cause too much disruption. I think my wife appreciates that. I hope she does. But once this is complete, it'll be pretty nice. But right now we have a long way to go. Until next time, I think this is the end of this video, and I'll do another installment here shortly with some other items that I've been working on. Okay.